Introducing the pants as pressure garments. Pants can be made for scarring on the lower abdomen, buttocks, and lower limbs. The leg length of the pants can vary for each side according to the site of the scarring, so you can determine how long you want each side to be. Individual sleeves can also be made for each leg if the buttocks, lower abdomen, or upper thighs are not scarred. However, the leg sleeves rolling down can become a problem if the hems are not tight enough or wide enough, so the patient might opt to wear pants anyway to improve comfort and compliance.
Okay, we're now going to take the measurements for the pants. You're going to be using the lower body measuring sheet, Appendix C, to mark off these measurements. Okay, so make sure that your patient is standing nice and straight with their feet flat on the ground. So we'll start off by taking circumference A measurement. This is going to be around the waist area, just over the navel. So feel where the patient's navel is. Make sure that your tape measure is nice and flush, flat on the skin, and the patient is standing relaxed without putting their stomach in. Okay, so that measurement is 76. The next measurement we're going to take is over the greater trochanter. So you can palpate where that is, or even ask the patient to sort of push where their hip bone is if they can. Take the tape measure, put it flush on the skin, and this will be circumference measurement B. Okay, so it's 98.5. The next measurement we're going to take is over the knee. Again, make sure that your tape measure is nice and flush. Okay, and this is going to be circumference measurement C, which is 37.5. If you notice there's a big difference between the two legs and you're making pant legs for both sides, just make sure that you take separate measurements. Okay, and the next measurement we're going to take, which is circumference D, is over the ankle, over the medial and lateral malleoli bones, and that's 22.5. If you notice that the patient is carrying a little more weight around the middle area, the thigh or the calf, you can then choose to take measurements in between your navel and greater trochanter, so sort of the middle waist area. You can take another circumferential measurement between the greater trochanter and the knee for around the thigh, and another measurement over the calf area. This is not always necessary, only if you notice that there is a little more weight carried in those areas. Now I'm going to be taking the distance measurements for the pants. Just note that in this video I will be taking the distances to cover the whole leg, but you would only need to do the distances or fabricate the pants to the level of just past where the scar is. Okay. It is more accurate as well to measure along the buttocks of the patient, especially if they have got more weight in that area. Okay. So the first distance we're going to take is from your navel, so that's circumference A, to circumference B, the greater trochanter. But again, to make it more accurate, we're going to actually go to the seam in between the legs. Okay, so you might need to ask the patient just to step their legs apart slightly. Okay, and that measurement is 36. Okay, the next measurement we're going to take will be from the greater trochanter to the knee. This you can take from the side, where you palpate the greater trochanter, and you're going to take it from there to the knee, and that's 33, and then you'll take your measurement from the knee to the ankle. Okay, so you can move that down and to the lateral malleoli bone, and that is 43 centimeters. Okay, so this is the lower body measuring sheet, or Appendix C, that we'll be using to record all of the circumferences and distances taken to make the pants. Just to take note that all circumferences are indicated or written in the circles, and all distances will be recorded in the rectangles. Okay, so the first circumference A is 76 centimeters. Circumference B was 98.5 centimeters. Circumference C was 37.5 centimeters. And circumference D was 22.5 centimeters. You'll note here that I haven't taken circumferences for E, F, and G, but if you want to take those measurements, then you are able to add them in those sections. Okay. Then the distances, we're going to record from the circumference A to circumference B was 36 centimeters. From circumference B to circumference C is 33 centimeters. And then the last one, from circumference C to circumference D, was 43 centimeters. Just to note also that if there is a large discrepancy between the size of the two legs, you will need to take circumferential measurements for the other leg separately and add them in. Okay, we'll now be showing you how to do your calculations for the circumferences taken. So just to note that all circumferences taken in the trunk area will be times by 0.2, and the circumferences taken on the leg will be times by 0.4. So if we look at the first one, 76 times 0.2 will be 15.2, and 98.5 times 0.2 will be 19.7. Then moving down onto the leg, 37.5 times by 0.4 will be 15, and 22.5 times 0.4 will be 9. Okay, so now we're going to be drawing the pattern for the pants using our lower body measuring sheet. So you're going to start at the top left-hand corner, and this will be your starting or reference point. And we're first going to do the circumference for the waist measurement, and we're going to use our calculated measurement there. So that's 15.2. So it's nice just to make a marking, and then from there you're going to measure 15.2 centimeters. Okay, then you go back to your reference point, and you're going to measure the distance down from the waist to the hip, which is 36 centimeters. So then I'm going to measure this on here. So there's my 30, and then 6 centimeters. Okay, and you can make a marking there, and it's good to write here that this is the hip, and this will be our waist. Okay, and we can mark this as A. Okay, so then we need to measure the distance from your knee to ankle, which is our 43 centimeters. So going from this marking down the page, there's our 30, and then an additional 13. Alright, so that's our 43 centimeter distance. And then we're going to do our circumference of the ankle with a calculated measurement of 9 centimeters. Mark that there, and we can label that as D. Okay, then you need to allow for a 1 centimeter hem at the bottom. So from that marking D, we'll just measure 1 centimeter. And we can draw a line across. We can just label that hem. And then we need to join our markings A, B, C, and D. So you can do that freehand, but however, because there are quite long or large distances between them, it's nice just to use a ruler to assist. So from this measurement, it can also help if you have one of those long metal rulers, just to help you get your lines accurate. And then the last measurement we're going to do is from A to B. There we go. When you are drawing your pattern, it can help you to write the landmarks that you're using next to them. So we know that that's the waistline. This would be the hip. We've got C, which is your knee. And lastly, we have the ankle at the bottom. Okay, and just to indicate where our hem would be. that's it, then we can cut out our pattern. Okay, we're now ready to cut out our pattern. It's nice just to indicate on your pattern where your fold is going to be on your material. So the straight edge over here is going to be on your fold. So we can write here fold, just so we remember. And then your stretch is going to be with the circumference around the waist or around the legs. So it's going to be in this direction. So we just do an arrow and write stretch in that direction. Then you'll also notice that at the top we haven't allowed for a hem, or we haven't added in any measurements for the hem. This is because when we do our measurements for the pants, we take the measurement over the buttock area, and then we generally find that we have quite a lot of extra material at the waistline here that we can then use to fold over and make a hem or make a waistband. Okay, so then to cut the pants, let's start here at the bottom. And then you have your pattern for the pants. Okay, so we're now going to be cutting out the material for the pants. Remember to always place your pattern on the fold of the material, so it's doubled over. And you want to make sure that the stretch of the material is going around the circumference of the waist as well as around the legs, so in this direction. Okay, so I'm first going to pin it down and then we'll cut it out. Okay, so now you've cut out your first pattern for the pants, but we need two of the same pieces in order to make them. So you're going to do a duplicate of what you've just cut out. So I'm going to place it again on the fold, stretch going around the circumference of the waist and pants. I'm going to pin it down and cut it out. So you now have your two different pieces to make your pants. When you open it up, it's going to have that pattern. Okay, and you'll have two pieces that look the same. Open them up. Okay, so I'm going to start off first by hemming the bottom of both of my pant legs, and then we'll show you how to sew them together. Okay, so now that you've cut out the pant legs for your pants, we're just going to hem a 1 centimeter hem at the bottom of each of the legs. So just make sure that your shiny material is facing down, so that will be touching the patient's skin. So we're just going to pin our hem. Done the hem on both of the legs of your pants, we're going to place them on top of one another. Just make sure that when you do this that the shiny sides are facing each other. So you're going to turn it over, you've got the shiny side, and then place the other shiny side on top of it. Make sure everything lines up nicely. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to pin and sew along the length on both sides of the pants. So now that you've sewn the length on both of the sides of the pants, you can flip it over and you'll start to see it resembles more of what your pants are going to look like. Okay, then you're going to just lay the two parts of the legs over. And now you can start to see the pants, and you can see that it's stitched up to where the crotch area is. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pinning along the inside of each of the pants legs and sewing that down the length of it. Okay, when you start pinning and sewing, you want to make sure that you align the two parts where the seams meet quite well, just to make sure that they are well aligned when you're sewing the length of the pants. So when you start sewing, you want to start from the inner crotch area and sew downward towards the bottom of the pants leg. Once you finish sewing the inseams of the pants, you're going to fit them on the patient, and you want to fold over the top of the pants to a desired length around the torso. So you want to make sure that it's not going to slip down or move too low when the patient sits down. So do note that this does look like a long length that's sort of at the top of the pants, but this is going to accommodate for the buttocks as well. So once you've measured off where you want the pants to sit, you're going to fold over a roughly 4 centimeter hem at the top. If the pants fit well and they're tight and they're not slipping down when the patient sits or moves, you can just sew this closed, and that would be the top of the pants done and the garment would be complete. If you are going to include a drawstring on your pants, you're still going to sew along the hem of the top of the pants to create that band, and then you'll unpick a small section over here in the front just to make a hole for you to be able to feed the drawstring through. To make the drawstring, you're going to cut a piece of your PG material, roughly 3 times the width of the pants, and you're then going to just fold it in half and stitch along that length. And it is advisable to do it against the stretch so that it's a bit more rigid and allows a bit more security when you tie it around the waist. So once you've cut out your material and sewn it to make the drawstring, I'm now just turning it inside out so that you can see it's much neater and you don't see the stitching. Okay, so once you've finished sewing your drawstring and you've unpicked the hole for the drawstring to be fed through, it helps to use a large safety pin to help feed through the drawstring. So I'm just going to attach that to the one end. That, and then you use that to help feed it through the tube at the top of the pants.